Hi, this is Jeff Berman from S4I Systems, and I'd like to show you a couple ways that you can compile your IBM I objects using Better Object Builder, or Bob. So what you're looking at now is my computer desktop. This is a Macintosh, but Better Object Builder works equally well with Windows. So what I have here is Rational Developer for I, RDI. You probably use that to edit your code already. And down here on the right is just a 5250 terminal emulator. And on the left is another terminal program that I'm going to use in a little bit to connect to the I. So I'm connected to my IBM I, and I've installed Bob, and we can take a look at that. I put it in directory build. So there it is, the Bob directory, and if we go into that, we see a bunch of stuff. And then one of the things we see is a directory called sample project. And inside there are some source files and a make file. So the source files are normal source files that you would expect. Let's go look. Here's the RPG one. So, it's just a standard RPG program. The source code is just in the IFS instead of in a source physical file member. And then the make file is just a file, it's like a text file that sort of spells out to the build system what objects we want to build and how we build them. Now, Bob uses make, which is a Unix and Linux tool for building objects. And so that's why we have a make file. So why don't we do a build? So we're going to compile these objects into a library called Bob Test, which I created. You can see there's nothing in there. And the way we do that is we go into PASE. And I'm going to do that by doing call QP2TERM to get a terminal. So we're in PASE. We can do, a directory listing of build slash, whoops, what happened there? Build slash Bob slash sample project. And there's the same files we were looking at a little bit ago. So let's change directories there. So I'm going to do is change directory to build Bob sample project. And then I'm going to say make all. And then I have to tell it what library to use. So I'm going to say object path equals /qsys.lib /bobtest.lib. Now, make is like we said, make is a Unix or Linux tool, which means that that's the file system it understands. It doesn't know anything about ILE and QSys file systems and our IBM I objects. It just knows, the IFS. So anytime that we want to interface with QSys, we have to do it from a sort of a Unix or a PASE point of view. So that's why I'm spelling this out here in like the path to it instead of just saying Bob test. Okay, let's hit enter and see what happens. Well, there it goes. Okay, according to this, it created a physical file, logical file, command, an RPG module, and then a program. Let's take a look. Display lib Bob test. Yep, sure enough, there they are. Okay. Now, one of the things that's pretty neat about make and about Bob is that it only builds what needs to be built. So if nothing has changed, it won't do anything. So let's issue our make command again and see what happens. Yeah, it didn't do anything. It printed out this header information, letting us know, what it was doing and where it's saving its its logs, and then it did the little summary information at the end, but it didn't actually build anything. Okay, so what if we make a change? Well, now let's go back to RDI, and what we're looking at here, I'm connected to the same system that we were just looking at on the green screen. Here's the IFS, here's the Bob folder, sample project, and then here's my source stuff. So why don't we change the logical file? Here, why don't we instead of being keyed by last, we'll make it keyed by first. We'll come back here, issue our build statement again. Okay, so it figured out that the logical file source code changed, so it recreated that. And it knows that the RPG module uses the logical, so it recreated that. And it knows that the program object uses the module, so it recreated that. That's pretty cool. And if we want to look at logs, there's a logs directory that gets created in the same directory as our code. Here, why don't we look at that? So now there's a logs directory, and if we list the logs directory, we see some other directories sorted by date. Why don't we go to RDI, because it'll be a little bit easier to navigate through that. So here's the 3 compiles we did. Here's the most recent one we did. Remember those 3 objects it created? Here's the output for it. So if we take a look at one, here's the logical file. You know, it's just as we expected. Same with Same with the, here's the program object, and here's the RPG. It's got our source code, and you know, we can see there were no major errors to worry about. Okay, so that works. We know it works, but is this the best way to do a build? Probably not. This QP2TERM program, it has to operate within the constraints of the 5250 sort of data stream, and so there's a lot of limitations. You have F9 and you can call back your commands, that's nice, but that's about all it gives you. So if we come over here, this is a terminal program. On the Mac it's just the standard terminal. On Windows you would use maybe Cygwin to get a terminal, or Windows 10 has a bash terminal built right in. So I'm just going to SSH into the same system. Okay, and if I go to build and Bob and sample project, so it's the same system, it's the same view that we had on the 5250. One thing that's nice about terminal programs is you can use the tab key to autocomplete. So, for example, when I changed directory and I typed build, I really just have to type bu tab, and then for Bob, b tab, and for sample project, sa, I hit tab, and it fills it in for me. That's a pretty huge time saver. Okay, let's go over to the 5250 and clear out our library, Bob test. We'll go back to our terminal here, and we'll issue the same command. So we'll say make all obj_path equals qsys.lib / bobtest.lib and hit enter. Works just as well, but it's a little bit more of a friendly interface. And if we come over here, display lib bobtest, yep, there they are. It built them. So there's 2 ways that you can do a build, and thanks for watching.